Let's talk best landing spots for Tyreek Hill. In case you missed it, the Miami Dolphins released their star wide receiver after he suffered a serious injury in 2025. He is going to be hitting the open market. And at the very end of his career, coming off of the ACL, one has to wonder, is he going to be as valuable as he's been in the past? Is he going to be highly sought after? Is he going to even be ready to go right from the jump? Before we get into pitching a best landing spot for him, what do you think of the Dolphins' whole overall approach where they're seemingly tearing down a lot of this roster? They got rid of Bradley Chubb. They're just completely clearing house and wanting to start fresh. I wonder if Tua's next, but they're trying to start as fresh as possible.
Yeah, they also cleared star Nick Westbrook-Akine. I don't know why you didn't lead with that. We're talking about Tyreek for some reason.
Yeah,
it's due. It's due. And I thought that this was going to be a mess around offseason for the Dolphins, where for that week they were keeping on Mike McDaniel and they were letting people go. And then they chopped him, and now it is full go. We are burning assets, and we are going to have to do another rebuild right now. And I love that you're bringing up Tua, because I think they're having conversations about Tua. There have to be there are mandatory conversations being had in that building about the quarterback position, because if we're doing a rebuild right now, February 16th, we got a long time before the new year, before the real season starts.
Yeah.
Are we going to go 6 months if we're the Miami Dolphins right here? Are we going 6 months planning a rebuild, planning a new offense, whole new team with Tua being our quarterback? Like, that is a real deal grown-up conversation people are having in Miami. They have to be, especially if they're chopping down the trees that they are.
Yeah, Tua definitely has to be next, because why would you go through the first efforts of Tyreek? Seemed like the most likely to get rid of because of coming off the injury and the gigantic contract that he has and how much money he would have been owed. And again, who knows how good he's going to be in 2026, how early he can play. Chubb was slowly returning to the form that he had after the 2024 injury. But if you're going to go already first week post Super Bowl, get rid of both of those guys, you have to have this thought that we're going to completely start this thing from scratch. I do wonder, is it get rid of Tua, go and bring in Malik Willis, or is it get rid of Tua, this year is kind of just an identity finding year, and then 2027 with all those quarterbacks, do they then try and draft somebody then? What's the...
I mean, they've got a guy.
What do you think, Quinn Ewers,
Is it Quinn time? I would love to be early on my Quinn take, by the way. I'd love to be early on it.
Wasn't a take. You suggested he went in the first round.
I didn't know what his grades were. I knew he was hot.
You had eyes. You watched a lot of college football.
Yeah, he was slinging it a little bit, though. I've seen some of the other guys drafted in the first round and what they could do with their arms. And I thought, oh, Quinn Ewers isn't that far off. And I saw him throw 1 billion picks his senior year. I said, okay, I'll walk that one back a bit. Regardless, whoever they bring in this year, it's nasty, but they might not even be better than Tua. So you're in a weird spot where, who do you bring in? Jimmy G, Malik Willis? Are we confident he's better than Tua? Not really. I'm confident in like his potential and like what I've seen in Green Bay, but Green Bay
more dynamic. And you also have the connection of Hafley to Malik Willis being in Green Bay. So if he really likes him and he thinks that he's a stand-up guy and he can be a leader, then that feels immediate. But again, if maybe there wasn't a developing of a relationship between the backup quarterback and the defensive coordinator, which probably didn't happen, maybe that doesn't come to fruition and we're just kind of projecting for no reason. But Malik feels like the only viable option.
What about a cheap Geno?
You and I both share the same thoughts on Geno.
I'm not saying.
I'm sure Mina Kimes would absolutely love that.
I mean,
best move of the offseason. I can see it now. I can see it. All the not just her, all the Geno Glazers out there that last offseason called the Raiders trade one of the most brilliant moves ever. I'm sure that if a move like that happened, he just needed a new situation, new environment. I don't want to see that. I'd rather see Malik Willis.
Yeah, I would too. It's a nasty year for finding a quarterback. In general, I'd say there's one guy in the draft and there's like kind of a guy that's going to be floating around. And then you have Russell Wilson and you have Geno Smith and you have Justin Fields and you have Marcus Mariota. And you're going to have to make a decision between some of those guys. I'm saying right now, I'm grateful I have a quarterback that I can at least say, this is starting. We have a starter.
Do you?
Yes, we do.
Someone posted a cut up of all of Michael Penix's. This was this morning.
I saw
his cut up of all of his 20 plus air yard throws.
I know.
And oh my goodness, they were awful. And that's supposed to be where he's good. He's supposed to have this deep ripping arm. His touch on those deep balls is some of the worst that I have seen from a second-year quarterback.
He shouldn't be throwing out of the pistol. He needs to be taking a drop under center or a regular shotgun snap.
He's the next to him, man. Just wait.
What kind of thing is that to say about a young quarterback?
Injury-prone and lefty. How much easier could that have been a connection?
The lefty allegations are tough. The lefty allegations in the league are getting worse and worse because I don't know if you've seen this, but when they reverse the video and they make the quarterbacks look like they're right-handed, it looks like a completely different guy. That guy looks pretty legit.
My thought immediately thought that he was catching the ball. Like the ball was getting launched into his hand, and I'm like, what would that show me? All right, we came here to talk destinations, though. Best landing spots for Tyreek Hill. There's two. I always like to come to the table with a real one and then a joke option. The joke option's always the same team. Okay. So you probably know where I'm going with the real option. Him reuniting with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, going back to Kansas City, just finish your career off on a high note. You already have all this negative energy around you with the off-the-field stuff and the injuries. Jump right in. If you come back in mid-season, they don't need you right away. If you went to somewhere like the Bills, they probably need an impact from you much sooner. So you come in mid-season after you're fully healthy and go on a playoff run, and if things go together, then it ends up being a really promising year, and maybe you get to another Super Bowl before you call it quits at 34, 35, however long he goes. The joke option, of course, is the Dallas Cowboys. I'm just going to do this with every single player. It just feels like such a Jerry Jones thing to do because he's always done this. He's always gone and got the big name star at the end of their career and brought them in and tried to really hype it up and build it up into something. I don't know what it is, but seeing Dak hit Tyreek somewhat 70% recovered on a deep ball down the sideline over the middle of the field, whatever it is, on a post, something. Just seeing him catch that ball from Dak in those uniforms just seems like it would get me really going. And even as a Giants fan, who would hate seeing the Cowboys be good, there's something about that gets me excited.
Would you want? First of all, I love the Chiefs option. Dallas option is going to be tricky. I mean, that's going to fall after the Pickens domino falls. After what they want to do with him, if they want to tag him, if they want to re-sign him, they should just extend. They should give him 3 years for.
I'd imagine they're going to do the same stupid dance where Jerry gets awfully public about it, and then suddenly he just gives him a ridiculously big contract.
The Jerry aspect of it, though, is interesting because Tyreek Hill had one of his most famous plays against the Cowboys at the end of the half, where they were playing in Dallas, and Tyreek Hill caught that 30-yard slant or deep in or whatever, and then worked his way through and got a touchdown. And it was like one of the best end of non-Hail Marys that we've seen. And I think Jerry, stuff like that sticks in Jerry's craw. And he's like, oh my God, I need to find a way to get Tyreek Hill or get him. So he's got an opportunity now. I have a bunch of options here because I'm really stoked on what he's going to do. You wouldn't want him? You wouldn't entertain him in New York? He's better than Hyatt.
I just don't think that he's a Harbaugh guy, man. I just don't. He's obviously worse. He's obviously better than two awful doo-doo ass receivers who can't catch the ball. What a suggestion by you. I just don't think that Harbaugh wants to throw a guy who has tended to be a distraction at times into the mix. I think it's intriguing, but you've got two smaller-ish receivers with Neighbors and with Wandale.
I forgot about Wandale.
I don't know. I don't hate the idea, but I don't love it.
The most popular idea right now that's circulating is the Baltimore Ravens being a landing spot because of their consistent issue at the wide receiver position and getting Lamar.
Do you mean the consistent place for a lot of guys to go die off in pasture? Is that what you mean?
I've got a Ravens A and a Ravens B for that point. But Ravens A is the Ravens, where it would just be the smallest wide receiver core ever with Zay Flowers and Tyreek Hill just 5-8ing it up on the outsides. I don't know if you want to get really West Coast with it. If you want to like get meta with your offense, and we're playing real small ball, do it. Make teams adjust. Take advantage of the big lanky corners if you can. It's at least intriguing because I guess Lamar, I mean, how long are we going to try to make Rashad Bateman work, right? How long are we trying to make Mark Andrews not be fat, slow, and with bad hands? Like eventually they have to turn a corner and make a play there. Ravens B, It's the Tennessee Titans, where receivers also go to die. But I think they would flip it as new regime, Cam Ward, number 1 overall pick. We got to get him some help. And what better help could it be than getting a 31-year-old Tyreek Hill in here? Maybe he'll be our Randy Moss. Randy Moss started hot with a great team, went to the Raiders and stunk it up, and then landed with a good squad. Now, the Titans aren't that good squad to land with, but I could see them making that push.
I feel like if I'm Tyreek, I'm picking the team that I know is ready to compete right now.
I'm picking one of these next 2 teams. Quickly, these are the 2 serious contenders. And also, I don't want any bad teams taking flyers on Tyreek. I want to see Tyreek Hill go and actually be with a playoff contender. He's earned that. He shouldn't be playing with a stinko team. That's the Bills and the Packers are the last 2 that I would project as working, being symbiotically helpful for all parties, good quarterbacks that also need offenses that have that need a deep threat. We're not going to keep on making. I'm not going to be told Khalil Shakir is the guy in Buffalo. I refuse to keep being told that. Same thing with the Packers. Christian Watson is a great receiver, but he's not a true number 1. He's kind of a gadget guy because he's so fast and tall, but he doesn't make it all click naturally as a wide receiver 1 in the NFL. But you put a Tyreek Hill with them, and then the offense is actually threatening. And then it makes those other guys have to step up because they're not playing the cornerback 1s. They're playing the cornerback 2s. You put him in a slot against a nickelback. Anything but Tyreek Hill going to a bad team. I think he helps the Bills. I think he helps the Packers. I think the Ravens is a disaster.
The Bills, to me, is probably the best of the options that you just pitched because, they need a game changer. And that gives them a chance to draft somebody in the first 2 rounds this year and then add Tyreek. Tyreek doesn't necessarily need to be the savior, but would be a huge boost. I think that the biggest part with all this, and we kind of skirted past this, everybody should expect probably like an 800-yard season from him this upcoming year. I don't think that we are going to get the same Tyreek coming off of a serious knee injury, he's 32 years old. He's at the end of his career. It needs to be a team that isn't expecting to get the same Tyreek. I think 800 yards from Tyreek on the Bills, and if they say landed Mekhi Lemon or they landed Elijah Surratt, someone like that in the draft, then they do have Khalil Shakir, who can be a solid option. It would create a pretty interesting dynamic. So I like the Bills as an option. Packers are fine. We'll end up seeing where he does end up going. Comment below your best landing spot for Tyreek Hill. Hit the like button and subscribe. We'll talk to you later.